during the meeting, but do
Okay, that's on. I'm gonna put this on dark here. Okay, we're up and running.
All right, thank you for attending the Osnaburg Township Trustee meeting on August 26th. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7:30. Please stand for pledge, short devotion. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, we thank you for our health tonight. We thank you for our team and all the hard work that they do. And just be with all those members of the township here and our neighbors and our family and our friends. It's in your name. Amen. All right, approval of Monday, August 26th meeting agenda. Do we have any additions to the meeting agenda?
No.
I'd like to move fire to the end because Assistant Chief Tom Ruskin's going to join us. So we'll move fire to the bottom. Okay, moving along. Approval of minutes for 8/12.
Trustee Griffith approves the minutes from 8/12.
Trustee Varian second. Roll call.
Griffith,
Yes.
Varian,
Yes. Approval of the treasurer's report.
Trustee Griffith motions to approve the treasurer's report.
Trustee Varian second. Roll call.
Griffith,
Yes.
Varian,
Yes.
We should probably make note that Trustee
Oh,
Pierce is
yes.
not here.
Sorry.
No.
Mr. Randy Pirro is not present this evening. All right, public speak, seeing none, we'll move right along. We're going to jump fire, head to cemetery.
I don't have anything to.
Nothing to report?
Nothing to report.
Okay. All right, moving right along, road report.
All
Mr.
right.
Stu.
Good evening, everybody. If the trustees have read over the road report, is there any questions you'd like to ask?
All right, we had a OTARMA consulting meeting today with a Mr. Mike from KLA, and it's a third-party firm that comes in and kind of looks at risk and trying to avoid, OTARMA lawsuits, things along those lines. A couple things we talked about in the road. We did talk about the signs on the current fuel tanks. The NFPA 704 sign is pretty faded, and then the no smoking and combustible item sign is faded. Can we get those replaced?
Yeah, we'll try to find where we can get those.
Okay. Did you have a pretty good relationship with the guy that
I'll
leases
call
it? Can we
Mike
get the leasing company?
Yeah,
to
I'll
give it
call
to us?
Mike at the Macintosh
Yeah.
and see if they got.
They should have
They
stickers.
should have it.
That'd be great.
Okay.
The other thing that he asked for is, this is going to be a weird one. Fire extinguisher by the tanks. Can't be in the enclosure. It's got to be 15 feet away. So that
Okay.
if thing's on fire, you can grab your extinguisher
We
not
could mount one
next
on
to
the
it.
telephone pole over there.
It can't be 100 feet.
No, there's a telephone pole about 15 feet from the tanks.
Perfect.
Outside, we could
Perfect.
put a bracket and have one there.
Let's screw it to that telephone pole. I'll take a picture of it and send it to Mike. That'd be great.
Okay.
Because we talked about putting it in the building. He said no. I said, can we put it on the building? He said, that's too far away. So it has to be 15
there.
feet away from the enclosure.
I'll check it for the footage. It can't be more than 15, you
So
say?
it's got to be 15 feet away, but not more than 100.
Okay, that should work.
All right, perfect.
That should work.
Great. Perfect. That's awesome. And then the other thing we talked about a driving policy, and I don't know if we have that in our handbook. I'm going to take a look at it. Something that states you're not allowed to text, call, wear seatbelt, no smoking in the cab. That he didn't talk about that, but that's obviously something.
Probably just need to adjust the handbook for an ad, because it won't
Yes.
probably reference that at all in there.
Right.
Just add a page.
The other thing that you guys are going to groan about, and I apologize, the acetylene and the oxygen tanks. He wants a steel spacer between them, between the two tanks, some piece of steel, so sparks can't fly between. That sounds weird. Steel spacer between the tanks. And if you're not using the tanks, he'd like the caps on and the hoses off.
If you're not, say you're using it today,
Yeah.
and
It can be left on.
It can be left on, but if you're not using
I
it for a
understand.
week,
I understood what he
it's
said.
safety. That's just something
Yeah.
that he
That's what
recommends.
they've asked for. So, and this is fire, that's fire. Do we have any roads that go from any surface to gravel in our township? Or is everything chip and seal?
Nope, 17th Street.
17th just goes to gravel?
It comes off of Broadway to gravel, more or less.
Okay.
And that is the
That's it.
only, that's it.
It's
Is
off
there-
of Broadway, is that?
Yeah,
right up
17th where Justin
where-
Beeling lives.
Okay.
Is that there's probably not a sign out there that says gravel starts or road ends,
Pavement ends.
pavement ends.
That's what he says. If
Probably
you're
not a
going,
sign.
if you're going from pavement onto gravel.
So what do you want? You want us out there where that sign, no parking sign is? We could put something below it saying gravel.
His comment
Pavement
is,
ends.
his comment is some young kid on a motorcycle doesn't know what he's doing. He's out there messing around, hits gravel, puts the bike over, and then we're sued because there's no sign.
Because we've never
Well,
made an
Broadway's
effort to
not
go.
ours.
Well, you just
So you're right.
tell
Broadway's-
me what you would like as far as
Yeah,
whether you
but
want
Broadway's
to
not our
say
road. That's true.
no
He's asking for
pavement or
our.
gravel. It should just say gravel.
He's asking for our road that goes pavement or chip and seal to gravel.
We don't have, Broadway's not ours.
Broadway's not ours, but
So
when
that
you
one's-
turn off there, that's a gravel road.
But that one's.
Yeah.
He's talking our road to our road.
Yeah.
Nope, we have
All
nothing.
right, I will. When I email him, I'll say we
That's
don't have
where
it.
they can do it.
All right, no road.
That's it, no road.
Okay. That one is for fire. That one. Oh, we'll have to talk about this as a whole, but any department over 15 people has to have a yearly sexual harassment training. We'll talk about that another time. Do you guys document your pre-trips?
No.
No, okay. They ask for it, but I mean, we're not gonna do all of these things. We can do as much as we can. And then do we document and look at, I mean, you guys are out looking at signs and roads. The other thing that you talked about was if someone's out there and a sign is missing and someone gets in a bad accident because the sign is missing and there was neglect from the township, if you've got documents that say, like this, pretty much. If
Right.
you've got documents that say,
I usually write it down in my
that
daily
road.
logs.
That's great. We checked that road and that sign was there. That's what he's looking
I have 2 spots probably right now that I need to get 2 new signs, left curve signs.
for. Okay.
They
So-
stole them.
Stu, maybe you need to add it to this report, just because the signage is an issue. So anytime you go check for signs, add that on the day that you check. To say, checked.
That's what I said. I
Okay.
put it down usually if I go out like that and we found a sign that's down, we usually put down on there.
Well, and he said this covers us.
Sign was stolen on,
Okay,
Yeah, that's great.
perfect.
left
'Cause if we
curve
have a-
sign was stolen on that road and I usually
Yeah.
put it down on our daily
Yeah.
log.
If we have a date and we check the sign, we're okay. Did we get a chance to move the 15th Street sign yet or no?
No, I
Okay.
just said that to where you walked in here.
Okay,
We need to go do that. Probably we can try to do that this week.
that'd be great.
We've just been busy with the road projects and stuff. and
I called Justin called me out, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, and I said, we're
Yeah.
on it. We're busy.
He called
Summer.
me too, and I told him I would get to it.
He's been all right about it. So
Yeah, he's
he's been all right about it. That's all I have for the risk side. Sorry to hit you with all that.
That's all right.
Anything else for road?
I just went up and checked, just so you guys know, North Star started Friday. Oh, well, they started Thursday and milled out the entrances of the 4 roads from the 2 different allotments. And then they came in Friday and started and did Sunlight, Goshen, and 15th.
Great.
And then they came in this morning and
Did
did
Valhalla.
Valhalla, Viking, Saga, and Valkyrie. Looks really
Looks
It's
good.
like
All
really done
done.
well.
Yep,
It looks
they
good.
did-
It looks
they
really
did-
nice.
They did a great job.
What is the sinkhole on Evening Star?
That there was, we were out running around, Shelley Holland called and noticed it there off to the right of her driveway. It's not, the pipe isn't like rusting out or nothing because it's plastic where it's at. So I don't know if water's eroding it some. It almost looks like, well, she told me she's been watching coon and different varmints running up and down out of this hole. So,
But it's not in the road.
no, it's in the ditch.
Okay.
The ditch has pipe underneath, going into, from catch basin to catch basin. So we went out with big 1s and 2s down to fines and dumped down in there and tamped it with a big spud
I
bar.
took it that it was on the road.
No,
Okay.
we did that there. We went out to Neiman's and did another one by the head wall there on Neiman's by Rick Anthony's pond there, where the overflow goes through that under our road and on down through, heading for the big creek. So those are 2 spots that we went out and plugged up a couple holes. We do that from time to time, and we watch it to see what happens, if it keeps sinking or not. And
Okay.
normally they don't. They're in pretty good shape, so we took care of those today.
Great. Anything else?
Nope,
You need to spend any money?
nope.
We better
Very quick
move.
at that.
We better move on before he figures out
Hey.
something he wants to spend it on. All right, thank you.
All right.
All right, zoning report.
Okay, since last meeting had 3 permits issued, I noticed on the last one for the ag exemption, I forgot to put the address. That's over on Greenport, other
Okay.
side of 43.
Great.
On the nuisance side of things, I sent a letter to S. Litch's property on Sindel there. I got the card back that they did get it. I haven't heard anything from it.
So that was a certified letter.
Mhm.
All right. That's our first certified?
Second,
Second, okay. All right,
so
I never went
further
to S.
action
Lich.
went to, yeah. If you wanted to go further with it, we can.
How many do you have to send certified?
We usually do 2 certified
Okay.
and then next step.
And you have a time frame on there.
I gave them to September 3rd.
Okay.
Kind
So-
of end of the month, start beginning.
okay.
So that, our next meeting is well after that. So if she gets no response by that deadline, then our next step would be to reach to the prosecutor. Is that what it is? Yeah. So probably what you need to do, what's September 3rd?
It's
That's Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard by, we'll say Thursday, or even Friday, because if they mail you something, say Friday, then reach out to the prosecutor. And say, what's our next steps to move forward?
I did hear that they were working on it some over the weekend.
Oh, really?
Make sure in your letter, working on it isn't having it done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they got to do more than just work on it. So what I hear is they take some away, then they bring it
They
back.
bring back, yeah,
So,
okay.
And then over on Mitty, I sent that letter for the grass and the car that's been sitting there for a few years.
is that where the problem is with the dogs?
No,
Okay.
which that's the one with the camper, and I think that one's been handled, but I gotta double check.
Okay,
And then plots over where they were talking about at the last meeting, I sent a letter there too.
Okay. Did that go to the,
It went to the owner.
not to the address themselves? Okay,
Yeah, I think it was a Canton address.
okay. That one is a regular letter?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the first?
Mm-hmm. Other than that, not much change. The last 2 on there, I was going to remove because from what I saw and what I've talked to the prosecutor's office, we can't do anything. I'll keep an eye on it, but I'll take it off our list for right now.
okay.
Because without anything else, the trash on Lincoln, I didn't see any trash. I haven't seen any trash for the last week or so.
Okay.
And the one on Sindel, there's nothing outside that I can see.
One of the other things Otarma talked about, and I know I'm giving you guys a lot today, I apologize. We did talk about how some of our employees do use their own vehicles, you know, when Stu goes on site in his own truck to check something out, not come here and when you're running around. One of the things they ask for is just proof of insurance. Like take a picture of your insurance card and send it to us. I mean, just enough to show that the employee has insurance.
You want all of us to do that?
That would be great, if you don't
Okay.
mind. If something happens in the state of Ohio, if I have this right, Amy and Brian have heard it different.
Yeah.
If something happens in the state of Ohio, your insurance, something happened and you were out and getting in a car accident, but you're on duty for us, your insurance is gonna cover the beginning of it. And then whatever it doesn't cover, Otarma is gonna pick up the wings, or the overage. So, but they did say it's just kind of good practice to have anyone using their own car to just at least prove you have insurance.
And I
So
do
when
that quite often.
Yeah, and we talk about that.
When down trees,
We
I
have copies
go,
of all, everyone's driver's license.
We do have draft copy and draft.
Yeah, he asked us about our yearly license, which we do with everybody.
Yeah, if you don't mind, not to be hard, just
Yeah.
shoot a picture
No,
and
that's
email
fine.
to Brian just to show you have insurance, and then we've covered ourselves that way. All right, awesome. Anything else for zoning?
Next month we'll be back to our regular schedule for both boards. So
Was that at 7?
the zoning appeals will have a meeting next Tuesday for the landfill, which is their annual meeting.
Did you get that advertisement? Okay. You're gonna have all your members there?
Everyone except for Karen. I suppose.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, great, thank you. Okay, any old business that we need to cover? Seeing none, let's go to new business.
What do you think, trustees? I just, yearly, we have our Tarma premium that we pay for our liability insurance. It's that dollar amount there. I'll have it right in front of me, 18,000.
We need a motion for that?
Yeah.
Trustee Barry moves to pay Otarma $18,000, $479.30.
Trustee Griffith seconds?
Roll call?
Griffith
Yes.
and Barron.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. All right, we've moved to fire, and I don't know if Tom's here yet, so sorry we went quick.
That's okay.
Sorry.
For once. Go
We
figure.
find out for,
Like,
go figure.
Can we talk about the correspondence first?
Oh, sure, I'm sorry.
yes.
Yeah, we'll talk with correspondence.
The NOPEC,
I missed it, go right ahead.
it's asking us to join, Massillon join NOPEC. And NOPEC is a good group, but for the electrical, but we're already in electrical aggregation. At this point, I don't really have any interest in changing.
How do we tell them we're not interested?
I don't know if we have to.
Okay.
That came to all of us, all 4 elected officials, a letter for each one.
So it's coming from NOPEC,
Yeah, right.
but
Member Development Director.
yeah, we're already in a,
Okay. I think we let this go.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Okay, we'll do the
Alright.
fire report.
Alright. So the first thing I have on here is the floor grates. We have a few that need to be replaced. Some of them are original to the station and quite frankly, you could step through them. So I've been working with the superintendent to try and figure out what the plan is.
Okay.
We're working on that.
Is it a welded product? Like, can we take it to a
Well,
machine shop and have them weld it?
I had welded some up
We had 2
back
spare.
years ago, and there was a couple spares there.
Okay,
So we went up and got one out and threw that in that worst spot so they didn't trip or
okay,
twist an ankle or whatever. But there is a place somewhere in Canton, Ohio grading or something like that. They'll make, you give them the dimensions and stuff.
they'll make it fit the
Yeah.
trough.
Yes.
Okay.
So we just need to check with
How,
them.
they all need replaced?
I hope they're still
They
around.
don't all. Some of them have already been replaced.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get a count.
And the
Count
ones we
length.
put in were a lot heavier and thicker.
Much different.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple troughs going down the middle of the fire station, right?
Oh, there's places everywhere that need
Okay.
change.
Okay, so we need to get some measurements, some lengths. Okay. All right. 4 great, okay. Speaking of replacement stuff, did we ever hear back from the door company?
So we believe we have all the parts.
Okay,
Jan just needs to do it.
okay,
So.
great, awesome.
didn't the door company put it in wrong?
No.
Or they just sent you the
just
wrong
us
door.
They sent the
three
wrong door.
different texts.
Our guys put it in,
Okay.
Yeah, Dan put it in and after.
It was the
last
wrong
time,
door.
it just- Yeah. we
but
didn't
they got you the right parts.
as far as I know.
Good.
Yes, just needs to be
Great.
done. The next thing I have on here is cot batteries. So we need to replace our cot batteries. We had bought some aftermarket ones, I believe it was probably about a year ago. They bought us some time. We've now had multiple occasions where the cot simply has not worked. One was Lindsay and I were out and we had to physically pick the cot and the patient up off the ground and put it into the ambulance.
This is the powder cot. This is the scissor,
Correct.
and the battery slides in and snaps.
Yep.
Okay.
And it would not even, like there was, and it had been changed that, like we're changing them 2-3 times a shift and we're still not able to lift up.
Okay. But you've got a good battery to throw in it and realize it still works. You've got a couple bad batteries, or there's nothing working on the
Nothing's
cot.
working. No batteries are working. I mean, not to
Okay.
lift more than one patient.
Is this a cot we're gonna keep with the new ambulance?
So that's gonna be my next statement. So yes, so that cot will go
Fit
into the
in
load
the-
system.
yes.
That is, so one of them will go into the load system. The other one, we're not 100% sure if it's cot issues or battery issues. It is currently sitting in the bay and we have one borrowed from Plain Township. So we need to have a discussion. Plain is supposed to let us know, it is an older cot from them, like it was a spare. And so they're supposed to let us know how much they would want for that cot, which is several years newer than what we have. Ours is an 09, our original one, not the one
The
we're
oldest
gonna do.
one, yeah.
The oldest one is an 09, that's a 15 that Plain has loaned to us. I
Okay.
wanna make sure, once we get the batteries, that it's not just the batteries, that it's more than that. And then I'm gonna get a number from Plain. Their chief is supposed to let me know how much they would want for that
Okay.
cot.
So it's Stryker, right?
Mhm.
So does Stryker sell a battery for this machine?
Yes,
Okay,
so
what's the cost?
three of them are $1,446.12.
$1,446.12.
So the battery that's in the one from Plain,
It didn't come with battery.
it didn't come with the
No.
battery. Oh, okay, so you can't.
Just
try
an
it.
empty cot.
Nope, just.
But it's a
the-
Stryker cot too,
Yes, it
Okay.
is similar to our newer one.
our newer one.
But
Okay.
our newer one's not the same. You can't try the battery over there to see if it's the cot or the battery.
So because all of our batteries are terrible right now,
We
I
can't.
don't know if the issues that we're having with
But-
our old cot are the.
So in the newest cot, the battery's bad in there too.
Our batteries are all bad.
So Amy, if you do a full charge.
Yeah.
And there's no patient on that thing, will it go up and down?
Yes.
So it's.
The old cot?
Yeah.
So the problem was it wasn't even just that, but there's a manual release on it as
Yeah.
well. So if you get stuck and your battery isn't working,
You
you can manually do it and it wouldn't even manually.
So it might have other issues.
So it may have other issues, which is
All right.
why we have the other part.
Does a charger need to be purchased with this?
No.
Does you have one?
Yes.
You sure it's not your charger?
I mean, I guess I'm not 100% positive. These are the original Stryker batteries from some of those. I mean, we knew.
Yeah, they're
Their
old.
recommendation is 2 years,
Some of them are way older
and
than
some of
that.
them are from the original cot.
1,400, Brian. We're right
But
there.
it's not charging the newest one.
So that's a different battery and charger. Those are the
Okay.
aftermarket ones we bought for fairly cheap.
Yeah, we bought them pretty
Those
cheap.
ones are not working well
Yeah.
either. And we knew like that probably wouldn't be a fix, which is why this time.
Yeah,
we
it was
asked
just,
for
it was
Stryker
cheap and
batteries.
it was quick.
It was.
Yeah.
And they did. They bought us some time,
Yep. Okay.
but we need to replace
Trustee Berrien moves to what's the vendor?
Stryker.
It's Stryker.
Mhm.
Okay.
Do we
Uh,
have money?
yeah. He said we'll pull
I'm
out soft
gonna
billing.
use the soft billing out
Okay.
of the ambulance fund.
Trustee Berrien moves to pay Stryker $1,446.12 for 3 cot batteries.
No charger?
Do you want to get a charger too?
I don't feel like we need to.
I mean, you're going to find out after the first battery dies if it's the charger or not, because the battery's going to be brand new.
Correct.
Okay. All right, trustee Griffith seconds.
Roll call.
Griffith
Yes.
and Barron.
Yes.
I did receive here finally on Friday, equipment back from Sam Hummel. I've been waiting for her either resignation or radio and key since her last shift was like Christmas. So she did turn her stuff in. So, she did not give me a letter or anything, but we need to.
Oh, okay. What's first and last name again?
Samantha
Hummel.
Hummel, Hummel.
H-U-M-M-E-L. Trustee Berrien moves to accept the resignation of Samantha Hummel effective now. I mean, she's how many
She
hours?
hasn't worked in,
Okay.
yeah, she hasn't worked in months.
And her gear is turned in.
Yes. she
Trustee
did.
Griffith seconds.
Roll call.
Griffith,
Yes.
Barron.
Yes. Fire engines in the shop,
He went this morning. and
went
took
this
it.
morning. Chief Parker called Louisville and told him that our engine's in the shop, so they're kind of on alert that,
I told all the neighboring
that we're gonna,
jurisdictions that we're
that's-
down an engine currently, which, so that just means if they were to call us, we would take the tanker.
Okay.
So they just know that.
anything else for fire before we talk staff?
Before staffing, no.
What does, on the report, what does no duty mean?
So we get there and either the patient is not injured, so we get there, or there have been times that we've been with like law enforcement has called us and like, nope, that's a police matter, that's not an EMS matter. So that's when we do, like, so no patient contact, it's not a refusal where we did something, it's they didn't need us.
Just turn you around, so to speak.
Yeah, and what are you doing when you got called out on the water main break?
No.
Was there
So
someone drowning?
No, the people legitimately, it was probably like midnight and they noticed a large quantity of water in the road. And so they called us because they didn't know what else to do. And I said, that's great. I've got the number for the East Canton water. So we sat there blocking the road because there was a sinkhole in the road. We sat there blocking it until the water department came out. And I said, that, yeah, like, that's what we'll do. We'll just call them. So
Okay.
we called
Did we have trouble with staffing during this period?
I mean, we were having trouble with staffing a lot of the time. I mean, I've got one person there, unfortunately, a lot of the time. We have some people who are coming in to help run some calls. That was the case this weekend. That one there was a day that we had 2 calls turned over to quad, and that's because we didn't have people there.
Okay.
And I don't remember what day that was.
Did we get a squad to the football game?
We did. We had 2 squads at the football game.
Okay.
I will say we have all of the games as of right now. There's people going to all of the games.
Okay.
The East Canton, I'm gonna say Little Hornets. I think
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
Had reached out to ask. We have years past have sent a squad to those games to sit and stand by.
Because they're all day long.
They're all day long.
Yeah, it's a
So
lot- it's a lot
couple
of commitment.
things. They called to follow up and I told her, I said, I'll be honest, a lot of my Saturdays, I don't have enough staff. Because I don't even have 2 people to sit at the station those days. And I said, so I'm gonna be honest, we will likely not be there. I did also talk to some of the neighboring departments. Most of the other jurisdictions charge them to sit there all day. I mean, we sit there 6-8 hours.
Yeah.
And we
'cause it's
just
an all
sit
day
there.
thing.
So
Yeah.
the Louisville Little Leopards, they pay Louisville $55 an hour to sit at those games.
Do they really?
Wow.
That makes sense.
So, I mean, that is utilizing, I mean, obviously we leave and they know that. So it's not a separate squad, it's our duty crew. I asked them to go.
Yeah.
They're responding to calls from there. They know that,
Right.
but I mean, that does.
Yeah.
you know,
They're not going
6-8
to push it.
hours
They're not going to
there,
push a call to mutual aid because they're at the Pee Wee football
It's
game.
even worse on the JV football game Saturdays because then they're usually at the stadium from like 10 a.m. until
Yeah, they eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. Hot dogs.
stinky. But I did let them know. I said I put them all on the schedule, and if I'm staffed, we'll be there, and
Okay.
it's the best I can do.
Okay, let's talk staffing. So I'm going to talk for Amy here for a second, and she can stop me if I'm saying this wrong. But Chief Parker had a really good meeting with both Nimishillen's chief and Louisville's chief. And they talked about, the woes of staffing, which is kind of a big deal across the board. We talk about this a lot. I think after talking to Chief Parker, it was a good meeting. They shared, some training ideas for the future, maybe doing some stuff together. And
Yes.
they talked about, coming to the fire departments with their team and showing them where stuff is on the engines. Because the reality is, and I got to witness this firsthand. It's a garage fire in Louisville, and I was there with Kid Watch. My kids were on the playground. It was right there. And so I went over to see who showed up, and there's Louisville, and there's Nim, and there's Osnaburg, and there's Tom Ruskin walking by in an Oz jacket, but he also works for Louisville. Like, it's a family.
Mhm.
So we all should know where stuff is on the trucks. So the whole meeting was good, I feel.
It was a very good meeting.
Very good meeting.
Most positive meeting the 3 of us entities have had in the 18 years I've been around.
And one of the other things too is that they're willing to not help. I mean, they're willing to realize that our staffing is low and possibly help out by saying, okay, well, Osnaburg's low this day. Maybe we put another person on at Louisville or NIM or things like that. And we want to try to do what we can to help out too. But then it comes down to the true reality of we are a small department with a pretty low wage in the grand scheme of things. and we are struggling to get staff. One of our folks that works a lot is going to be off for a little while for some personal reasons. And so we're getting to the point now that we have one or none a lot of times in the department. So what I would like to do, if the trustees are willing to, and I'd like to bring, and Fiscal Officer Lowry, I'd like to bring Amy and Tom in on this, I'd like to have a special meeting and talk specifically about staffing and have Fiscal Officer Lowry come to us with what we can afford. And I think we got to look at wage increases. But we've got to do something. But I don't think we can wait for 2 weeks. I think we need to do it before 2 weeks. So that's my suggestion is a special meeting. We can't make a motion now with Randy not being here. I think it'd be better to have all 3 trustees because it's kind of a big deal to do a wage increase. But that's my proposal. It's not going to fix the problem immediately, of course. But when we're offering 17 and everybody else is offering 22 or higher.
But I guess it depends on what our goal is. Are we wanting to get 1 or 2 people to full-time? It may matter what your plan is versus giving everybody some. So that's what it has to be determined. What is our goal?
Yep.
What do we want to get to? And the other thing is, do I just put out for firefighting, not for paramedics, but for firefighting? They're offering free training now for any residents who want to be firefighters.
Yep.
And I think we have to do our due diligence. I think we need to advertise it out there to our community,
Sure.
send them up to get that firefighter training.
Sure.
Okay.
It's offered if it doesn't look, because the public doesn't understand you're paramedic and you're firefighter.
Mhm.
Just like they don't understand this is a county road and this is a township road.
Right.
It's just roads to them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we at least have to show that we're using those grants available out there for the firefighter training,
Mhm.
and try to get some people interested in doing that in our community. At least show that we are trying to
Sure.
recruit people.
I mean, I agree 100%. I mean, those people would have to have some kind of either an EMT or paramedic training to staff the station, but I completely agree. I mean, we have one of our members in fire school right now.
Right. So they're not trying to be paramedics. We're just getting them
Yeah,
certified to be firefighters.
Okay.
And then the next time we have a house burned down,
sure,
we're going to have a lot of people show up. Well, however many.
sure.
And as far as that, it could be a recruitment tool for you then to turn them into a paramedic.
Yep.
If they like joining the family.
Mhm.
I mean, that could be a recruitment tool for us.
Yep.
I think anything is. I think we try anything. I love it.
Yeah.
If they're giving firefighting school for free, good. Let's start there.
So they are offering it for free right now. And I
That's
think
great.
it's at any of the places that train.
Right. So Start State would be the local, Start State or Buckeye
Okay.
would be the local.
And I know it's active. So I don't know if they on their website have any advertisement or anything that you would post, or you get it on your Facebook, or I don't know. How else do you think we would want to get that out there?
I mean, I think we can post it on our
We could get
website,
it
and
on our
post it on
website
Facebook,
too.
post it on the Community Connect. I mean, I know sometimes that's a lot to manage when you have to read some of the people's posts, but
But if you're just asking them to
Yeah.
train to be a firefighter, because a lot of people
Cool.
don't want anything to do with the medical side of it. They just want to be the firefighter.
do we, Amy, what is your conflict next meeting is? Are you gonna be gone the whole afternoon, or if we met earlier in that day, would you go?
I will be gone from September 9th to the 14th. I'm going to a conference.
Okay.
To the hospital, but
Got it.
You say the ninth through the,
14.
14th. I'll be gone that whole week.
Okay. With Randy not being here, we can pick a special meeting date. How much time do we need, Brian, to get that? We need a week?
no, special meeting is 24-hour
Oh,
notice,
okay.
public notice. So
Okay.
as soon as you know a time, when we can
Would-
coordinate.
Would September, I mean, I know Randy's getting back from the fair. I think the fair ends the 2nd. That's obviously a holiday. We wouldn't want to do that, but,
And you got a zoning meeting on the 3rd.
okay. Yep,
That's at 7.
that's at 7.
We have one on the 9th.
Are you gonna be, because Amy can't be here on the 9th, so I was gonna try to do it. Are you gonna, Brenda, are you gonna be here for the meeting on the 3rd? Or no?
We don't have a meeting on the 3rd.
Zoning.
Oh, no, that's the
No? Okay.
BZA.
Okay, I was gonna try to maybe go before that if you're already gonna be here to save somebody a trip. Well, the other thing too, I mean, is I know you want to be here for this, but we know what we need to try to solve. And if Tom's here on the 9th, and we look at
Okay,
our finances,
I'm okay with that.
okay.
Well, and we're just doing a workshop, correct?
Yeah, I mean, whatever we need to do to have a conversation about it and see where we are
If
financially.
you have it as a special meeting, you can make motions if you need to.
Okay,
If something to help make it speed
Well,
up.
if we do it as a workshop,
If you
it's
do it as a
not-
workshop, a
then-
work session.
Yeah.
Then you wouldn't be able to do a resolution, but
But
then
we
you
could
could
do it
bring
the
it
next
back the
meeting.
very
but
next
could
meeting.
she call in if it was a work session?
No.
but you're gonna be tied up there.
I'm okay with Tom being here.
Okay,
We're on the
Okay.
same page.
Okay.
I'm 100% fine with that.
all right. So would you guys rather, if we stick with the 9th, would we rather handle this in meeting or do you want to have something special prior?
I think we need to have the conversation prior.
Okay, so can we
It
do
could just be a work session prior.
can we do a 6 or a 6:30 on the 9th?
Anytime on the 9th, okay.
Is that okay?
Yep.
All right, let's do a
Work
6
session,
work session at 6 on the 19th. I'm sorry, the 9th, September 9th. Is that okay, Chief Parker?
I believe so. When Tom comes, we can check with him.
Okay.
Because he is who's coming to the meeting that night.
Yep, yeah, he's
So-
coming, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We'll double check with him. All right, super.
But
Okay,
I do think you need to come with some specifics, what we know on, like that firefighter training, and let's have the information that we need. And the two of you need to get together more and determine what is your goal.
Yep.
Your recommended goal,
Yep.
what it is.
Yep.
Is it just to hype everybody's wage a little bit? Or is it to get to full-time or? And you should know by talking to your employees what
yeah,
they're
and she's
We
talked to
have
him.
lots,
We've had conversations with employees. I mean, when I say we, Amy has, I've not directly.
several.
Yeah.
But kind of what they're looking for. Because we talked merit pay, we talked,
Longevity.
we talked longevity
So,
pay.
Yeah.
There's people that work, have been working for us for 15 years that make the same as someone who walks in day one. So
Yep.
we may want to look at that. Is there a way to scale that?
Yeah.
It comes down to, and we'll talk about this at the meeting, but we've talked a lot about how expensive a full-time person is compared to giving raises. A full-time person is very expensive. So we need to look and talk about that. But I think the overall response to Amy when she talked to people was a higher wage is kind of trumps all. So
Oh, it does.
a higher wage for the part-timers is,
Yes.
it's kind of trumps all the other
me
ideas.
and Amy and you have talked about that. What kind of wage you talking? Just so I have an idea.
I mean,
Are you talking a couple of dollars or are you talking $10?
No,
What
I
are
don't-
you
we
I
talking?
don't think we're talking 10.
I don't think we're talking 10.
I think we are talking 3,
4 to 5.
Okay.
I mean, to get,
Because right now, your budget on the levy that was passed
Mhm.
gives you an allowance to do 2.5% to 3%
Okay,
a year.
Okay.
And it also, we held off that little bit of this year and then got going with the hopes that here in October, we were gonna look it over and evaluate to do it again
Yep.
before the end of the year.
okay.
So
So we're on track.
let's say if you do another 2.5, that's 4% in 1 year. Now, if you go any further than that, which would be about $1.50 to $2, if you go any further than that, then you're gonna eat up what would be in the future.
Right.
Okay.
It may mean that there's no cost of living increases for a while.
But if we can get $4 or $5, then we might be able to, what was it, Sugar Creek?
Yeah.
Sugar Creek
I
starts
just
at
saw today,
22.
Yeah, Sugar Creek is $22, $23 an hour after your first year.
Little tiny Sugar Creek. But we need to talk about it. So
That
I
could be
think,
why, because it's a little tiny Sugar Creek
you
too.
know,
We
So-
probably need to look more around us.
I have.
Okay.
Yep.
And maybe bring those numbers.
I can do that.
I think this is a good start. Let's meet at 6. I'll tell Randy, that's what the plan is. We'll also check with Tom.
Yep.
Make sure everyone's involved there and we'll plan on did we call it a special meeting or did we call it a workshop?
It's gonna be a work session.
Okay, work session. Because
Because then
we'll
we're
do what we
going
need
into
to
our
at the
regular
meeting.
meeting.
Yeah, it's fine.
But you,
Maybe I'll take
you,
care
of it. Okay.
you all
Great.
confirm and let me know what's going
Okay.
on, okay?
Sounds good. Anything? Hi, Tom.
I just
How are you?
moved you out for a work session.
How
before
are
the
you?
next Trustee meeting on wages.
Are you
Okay.
are you available at 6 p.m. in 2 weeks on that month?
So it'll be right before the meeting.
2 weeks from today?
Yeah. The
The
9th.
meeting you're already coming to.
Yes,
Would that be fine?
yes.
All right, thank you. And then we've got Tom in, and I'll call Randy.
Perfect.
Okay.
Anything else for the good of the order? Seeing none, I move to adjourn and pay bills.
Okay.
Griffin seconds.
You just made it done, Tom.
I know.
Tom just sat down. Trustee Barry seconds, roll call. Or trustee
Griffith
Yes.
and Barron.
yes. All right, thanks.
I need to start doing that. Show.
Just show up right at the last.
Right on.
I know, right?
Tom, what are you coaching?
Fourth, fifth grade Packers.
Oh, cool. Good. That's probably a good time.
Oh, yeah. First year for the fourth graders.
Okay, first year for tackle?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're full pad?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
They just changed it this year, fourth, fifth grade.
Okay. Do they run a resemblance of a play? Are they pretty good at running a play for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
They're catching on quickly.
Good.